joins us now. I want to talk to you first, but we'll go to Jamie first to get a quick update there. Jamie, I understand homes are burning over near Claremont Mesa?
We are over in Claremont Mesa, just off Claremont Mesa and Kearney Villa Road, and there's actually a fire truck just pulling in right now. Businesses are definitely in danger. We cannot really see. There's a whole lot of smoke right now. We cannot see if it's actually burning any buildings, but we're right over here by Pacific Waste Services. Everyone's kind of getting out of here, but there's also people here taking pictures. We saw one lady just jogging out, holding her shirt over her mouth because you really can't breathe here. We're inside of the news car, and right as soon as we pulled up, just flames just erupted right in front of us. And our photographer, Mike Edison, is out there trying to get some pictures of that right now as we speak. So very, very scary scene over here.
Hey, Jamie, where are you exactly again?
We are just off Claremont Mesa and Kearney Villa Road over by the 805, just north of Claremont Mesa. There's some businesses up here.
Right.
And
I just drove past there, and it's a very scary scene. It's a very scary situation because people are slowing down now on the 805 to take a look at that fire you're talking about, which is headed for, if I remember right, in that neighborhood, they're pretty much duplexes over there.
Yeah, and actually, I guess we actually closer to the 163. That was my mistake, but I mean, same area. Same area. There's, north of Claremont Mesa, over by the 805 and over by the 163. A lot of flames moving this way, and like you said, very close to the Local 8 studios. So
the problem with that area, and I think Sean Stiles will attest to this, being a local, is that that's an older area. It was built, in the 1960s and 1970s. So unless folks have replaced those roofs, they're probably shingle roofs.
Which a lot of people haven't, as we've seen in Scripps Ranch earlier this morning, and those are the houses and the structures that are just going up like paper because those shake roofs just, as a matter of fact, fire crews that were anywhere near those areas, if they have the choice between trying to save a structure with a shake roof or a tile roof, they tried with the tile roof because at least they had some kind of a chance of salvaging that structure. Graham, you just drove into the station. Where did you come from and what did you see?
Where do I start? We were actually on the beach at Camp Pendleton, part of the Indian Princess program, camping. I'll maybe work my way backward because this is more immediate right now. When I got into Kearney Mesa just a short time ago, they were evacuating the Food for Less, which, as you know, is about 2 blocks, maybe 3 blocks from here. They're evacuating the Arby's. They were evacuating the Starbucks. That area used to be the home base that they're redoing now for a Walmart. They're evacuating that area right now. They have shut down Claremont Mesa Boulevard at the 805, but the problem is, as we just heard, the fire has now hopped the 805. It is now definitely burning. I saw it for myself, burning on the west side of the 805, and this was, I believe, as I've been listening to the radio and some of your coverage, this is what the firefighters had been fearing. They were trying to make the stand at the 805, but I can tell you that it has not worked, and where this goes from here, who knows?
And this is sort of similar to what we've been seeing all morning and into the afternoon, and they're thinking that it's not going to cross these major thoroughfares, and when it does happen, it happens so quickly. Sean Stiles with us right now, and Sean, we can attribute a lot of this to that wind.
The wind has really played the major role in this as far as pushing the fire along, feeding it with fresh oxygen so it can burn. You have plenty of fuel. We all know that San Diego is basically a desert, and with the drought situation we've had, what you need here is oxygen. As you look at these images of what took place earlier today, you can see firefighters had to drop the hoses and run for safety. They couldn't even have time to pick up the hoses. And what is going on here, and one thing I really want to stress is, by all means, don't forget your pets. These little critters, they depend on you for everything, so take them to the shelters if you don't have a place to take care of them. I want to show you some graphics here. Here's where we have fires burning now. We have Valley Center, we have the Ramona fire, we have the Miramar fire, and now a fire being reported down in Chula Vista. And these fires are all basically heading towards the east because of these Santa Ana winds. And I want to give you a view from outer space. This is what they are seeing. These images are being projected across the country, so folks are really getting a good idea of what's taking place here in Southern California, all the way from Santa Barbara County all the way down into northern Baja. We're seeing fires, but notice that the bulk of the smoke coming from San Diego County. And look at this time-lapse video we have here of the fire as it progressed throughout the morning hours here. This is how it moved in across San Diego. You can see why airlines such as Southwest Airlines and America West dealing with diverting their planes or not even flying out of the San Diego area whatsoever. Humidities remain extremely low across San Diego County. Julian 10%, 13% in El Cajon. basically in the upper teens to mid-20s in the Claremont area and along the coastline, so things are very, very dry. And the winds have picked back up again, especially here in the Kearney Mesa area. Graham, you were saying they were evacuating people right around the studios here. Yep. The Food for Less is at Claremont Mesa Boulevard in 805. We are just a little bit north of Balboa and west of Convoy here, so it looks like we are right in the center of it, and you can see the winds are very strong, gusting. Look at the gusts out in Campo, and those winds will be heading towards the Chula Vista fire, so those folks in the Chula Vista area really need to start paying attention to the firefighters and law enforcement officials in that area.
And I got to tell you, driving around out there just a few minutes ago, don't go out unless you have to go out. And of course, if you're being evacuated, evacuate. But it's very difficult getting around there with the 52 closed down, and now with these fires jumping the road. And I want to point out, if you want to pinpoint where the flames are right now, it's at James Madison High School. It's burning right toward James Madison High School, which is just south of Claremont Mesa and just west of the 805. And of course, that is Claremont Mesa, an area that was built dozens of years ago.
And that construction was built with economy in mind.
Right.
And, you know, shake shingle roofs were very inexpensive, and a lot of them maybe not shake shingle, but have gone to the tile roofs. Right. That are the roll tar tile roofs, and those go up just as quick.
All right,
that's what we have.
Yes.
I believe here at Kearney.
We do.
Let's head out to Lake Wolford now. Our Mark Prescott is reporting live from there with the latest. Mark.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, I can tell you out here the smoke and the wind are overwhelming. It's very loud out here. There's helicopters passing by. They've come over to Lake Wolford to get some water to try to do anything they can to douse some of these flames. Take a look up here, and you can just see the smoke that fire crews are dealing with in houses up here. This is a trailer park, and you obviously a lot of these trailer park homes not in very good shape, not safe at all. It has been an absolutely amazing morning out here in the Lake Wolford area. The Valley View Casino was in jeopardy. It's okay, we're told. Valley View Middle School was like that as well. And you can actually see some flames in the background there now. We got fire crews out there. They have the perimeter surrounded, and they're trying to clear some brush. But it is the Santa Ana winds that are really just driving firefighters nuts. We've seen people evacuating all morning long. And what's interesting about this fire, guys, is that if you watch some of it, we got really in the belly of it about 30 minutes ago. It started on one hillside out here in this area, in the Valley Center area, and it looked like it was kind of sparse. It looked like it wasn't going to turn into much, and then within about 5 to 7 minutes, the whole hillside was on fire. We saw a truck catch on fire. We saw some horses that were in danger here, also in Valley Center. There was a fire that was near an animal kennel. One of the dogs died there. We saw a car fire that took 4 lives here. Just incredible, and fire crews are trying to stop this in a very different directions, because it started this morning on the east side, and then it moved west very quickly at about 40 miles an hour, and you can see the winds now are picking up, and then it's heading south. Fortunately for a lot of people, they were able to clear out of their houses. They were able to get a lot of their belongings, their pets and such out of their houses. But what it did is it created a lot of traffic getting out of Valley Center onto the 15 in Escondido, because that's where a lot of people were trying to get to, and they were able to do that. There was a lot of traffic, and when we were out here at about 8:30 this morning, as it was coming up Valley View Casino, and a lot of people went there from the middle school up to there because the flames were coming that way. They went there, and then they had to scurry out of there because they could see the flames and the overwhelming black smoke. I can tell you, the smoke out here is unbelievable. But they went from there, they got in their cars, and they did kind of head out. It was chaotic at first, but they were able to leave that area in an orderly fashion. So we're keeping an eye on it. We've got our eyes on this lake right next to us. We can hear the helicopters going overhead. But boy, this is certainly an absolutely tough blaze to battle, because it's just going in a variety of directions, guys.
All right, Mark, and we should point out that Mark is, speaking of keeping an eye on, is not being cool. He has those goggles on to protect his eyes, because there's a lot of ash. If you're not near this fire, you don't realize the amount of ash and the amount of smoke and how it burns your eyes. It's burning us here in Kearney Mesa. You got something new, Barbara?
That smoke is posing just as much a problem for some people as the flames are for others. Just evacuated, we have learned, Kearney Lodge mobile homes on Convoy Court. Mostly seniors living there, so that's obviously a big concern, but I think people are being evacuated in the area anyway. In regards to Valley Center, where Mark was just referring to, the Red Cross once again is closed its evacuation center its evacuation shelter rather in Valley Center. It's moved the shelter to St. Peter's Church at 450 South Stagecoach Lane in Fallbrook. That is reporting to agency spokesperson Kathy Sang. And if you want any more information on Red Cross shelters, whether it's that one on South Stagecoach Lanes or others near where you may be needing to get to. Go to our website, KFMB.com. We have information for you there. We will also have phone numbers for you there that you can call for more information, including the city helpline, which was set up at 12 noon today, and they will be able to give you updated information as well. So that's been up and running for about 2 hours now.
Yeah, and one of the reasons probably why they, other than the flames, they evacuated the Kearney Lodge, which, as you pointed out, is mostly seniors, is because it's very hard to breathe. It's
extremely hard to breathe. We've had people from the Lung Association on today, just the County Board of Health on today, telling people, even if you don't have existing respiratory problems, if you don't need to be outside, don't go outside. That's how thick the air is becoming, and it's becoming difficult to breathe, and that type of thing can creep up on you and make you very sick. They're advising people to keep their windows closed and their air conditioning on.
That is downtown San Diego on this October day, and it looks like fog, doesn't it? You cannot see through. It looks like pea soup, and the flag is blowing, I'm presuming, to the west, and that is the reason why we have all the problems, the offshore flow right now. And when we were on the beach at Camp Pendleton, by the way, there's a fire burning up there, but it's not consuming the homes like this one is. We were watching the winds real closely because we had some concern about that fire, and they kept shifting. At 1 minute it'd be onshore flow, and then the next minute it'd be offshore, and I was breathing a sigh of relief. It looked like the onshore was coming back, the cool sea breezes, and then just when it looked like that was happening, boom, it would shift back, and that's why we have this situation right now. From being outside, I'll tell you, it's definitely blowing in a kind of a southern direction, a southwest direction right now, and that would make sense from what we're seeing with the fire.
You mentioned the Camp Pendleton fire, and I think, in fact, at last report, it was 75% contained, so it is not really on the radar as an area of concern this afternoon, which has really surprised a lot of people waking up to hear about this morning. And you and I both drove in here from the North County. We drove in from blue skies into darkness.
It was a very scary, it's a gut check time when you're a news person, and you want to come into an area where the fire is. You know, over the years, you and I, Barbara, have covered many fires as reporters on the ground. That's a scary situation. Our reporters out there, all the other reporters, Channel 10, Channel 39, 51, they're taking their lives in their hands right now, especially because the winds are somewhat unpredictable at this time. So it's a very difficult situation, but we're in here, and we're going to stay here until we are given an order to evacuate. We don't know if we are at this point, but there has been some concern. Some other television stations have been evacuated already.
Matt Balo is with some of our reporters in the Scripps Ranch area, and we were talking to him a little earlier, and he said that as far as the winds go, around 4 o'clock this afternoon, we may see a little bit of a break in the wind. They may die down a little. They are not going to cease altogether, but that is around the time of day that fire crews will probably start to at least have a chance to make some gains on this fire. Not until then, though, because we've seen these winds die down slightly and then pick back up to even stronger than what they had been before. Also, the winds are shifting a little, so it's just complicating an already extremely difficult situation. And
from the reports I was hearing, again, I just sat down here about 15 minutes ago, but this fire, this whole thing, the big one, originated in the Ramona area, but has kind of branched off, and now there is a fire still burning in Ramona, in the Scripps Ranch area, also a little bit in Poway, but has also jumped the freeway where we have so many heads now. The firefighters are almost overwhelmed. They don't want to say that to us, but at this point, with the resources spread so thin, it's very difficult for them to fight this fire.
Now, Sheriff Bill Cullender is warning that if the winds shift, there's probably about a 20 to 25% chance that the cedar fire will spread from Scripps Ranch to Fairbanks Ranch and Rancho Santa Fe in the North County, which is interesting because we had just had a release from the Helen Woodward Humane Society out there. They're very concerned and starting to make some plans in light of these most recent events. And if you're wondering why we're not going to all kinds of live shots right now, as we have been all morning, we've had to move some of our crews because the fire is becoming so intense in some place, and our reporters and camera people are having difficulty breathing and need to get out of the area, as does everyone else.
Sheriff Bill Cullender has seen fires like this in San Diego County over the years. He joins us by phone right now. Sheriff, can you hear me?
I can, but never anything this bad.
All right, Sheriff, give us the latest assessment, if you will. It's Graham Ledger and Barbara Lee Edwards.
Well, folks, as you know, it's been not only in the county, but the city of San Diego and throughout this entire county, and I don't think any of us have ever seen a fire in this community this bad. it is so unpredictable. And as you've heard us talk about each area, and it depends upon the wind and where it's going, and it blows here and it blows there, and it's very complicated. The only thing that I can say, someone asked me the question, we have had 8 confirmed deaths. This makes it the worst fire we've ever had and the most serious with injuries. But thank God it has not had the problems that we've had with other incidents that have created the death of more people.
It's a terrible situation, Sheriff. Let's start with your headquarters. Are you all safe over there?
Yes. We have closed the headquarters. Just a moment, please.
All right.
Answer that one, please.
That's Sheriff Bill Collender joining us by phone.
And we've also, we have alternate plans if it switches over to the communication center. So we're doing okay.
All right. So we've got reporters on the ground, Sheriff, and I know you have crews all over the place. But when I was driving when I was driving down here into the Kearney Mesa area, it was a very scary sight to see the fire had jumped the 805, which is what the firefighters did not want to have happen. What do you know right now?
I know that it hit a little bit of Tierra Santa, but that it hasn't gotten serious at this point. My son lives up in Claremont Mesa, and he has asked me about it. From what I can find out, it is on up of 15, not on 52. So I think he's okay. I just don't know. I'm so busy with everything else exactly what location that is. But it won't affect him. So
what role are the sheriff's deputies playing right now in assisting firefighters? Are you helping with evacuations and such like that?
Yes. I think it's very important that the public realize how serious this is. Both the police chief and I have asked people to be prepared, depending upon where they live, to be ready to leave if they have to. In some cases, they should use judgment. If it looks to them like they should, then they should. If a police officer or a sheriff comes by and asks them to leave, they certainly should. But they should not call one of our agencies to ask us whether we think that they should, because obviously then the telephones would be taken up by a lot of calls that would not be the emergency type that we're handling right now.
We understand that's been the case already today, that 911 has been flooded with calls, and that the police have been flooded with calls as well, and just obviously are not able to deal with this. They're barely able to deal with what they've got on their hands already.
Hey, Sheriff, before we let you go, one quick thing. We just got a warning from you that says that there's a 20 to 25% chance that the Cedar Fire could spread from Scripps Ranch to Rancho Santa Fe and Fairbanks Ranch.
We're getting that through some of our people who are involved with the weather and the fire folks. And what they're saying is that if the winds shifted dramatically, that it could, in fact, there's a 25% chance, go through Fairbanks Ranch into Rancho Santa Fe. We want them to be prepared like everybody else. And if they have horses, which a lot of them do, then they're going to have to prepare sooner. We're not asking them to leave, and apparently it doesn't seem to be dangerous enough for them to. It's got a ways to go before it gets there. It would have to cross over and go through Fairbanks Ranch before it got to Rancho Santa Fe. But we want them to understand that that possibility does, in fact, exist.
All right, Sheriff. And obviously there's a lot of eucalyptus in Rancho Santa Fe, not to mention a lot of homes.
Thank you for joining us, Sheriff.
Thanks,
and
Sheriff.
We may talk with you again later today. We're going to go back to Mark Prescott now live at Lake Wolford. And I understand, Mark, that you're going to have to leave that area in the next few minutes.
Yeah, probably, Barbara Lee. Probably in about 5 minutes right when we get off the air. But take a look behind me. Before we leave, we wanted to show you this. This is right behind the Lake Wolford Cafe. And look at this area now around this trailer park. We just got off the air with you guys about 5-6 minutes ago, and look at how much has changed already. You see the flames coming down the hill. This trailer park certainly in jeopardy. This whole area, the Valley Center area, what a tough morning it has. We don't have a number count on how many houses were damaged in this fire. We're told it's a lot, though. That number will probably come out sometime tomorrow whenever this fire finally starts dying down. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. We've seen people all around the perimeter working this fire. They're going to be out here for a long time, I'm sure, but they're trying to save this trailer park right now. That is becoming a main concern.
All right, Mark, listen, don't be a hero. Be careful out there.
We're going to go to Jeff Zebley now in front of another fire. I understand another structure just gone up in flames, Jeff.
Yeah. And just give me a second to collect myself. We just set up our live shot, and as you can see, we're in the thick of it here in Scripps Ranch, and I'm joined by Captain Art Garcia from the San Diego Fire Department. Captain, what do you do? This whole neighborhood is on fire right now.
Right. What we do is we go to a home that we think we can save or an area that we can knock down the brush out so it doesn't get any further away. And then we just try to get that as much as we can and go on from there. And as soon as we're done with that, we just go on to the next one.
SDG&E, a couple of their crews just stopped by and they told me that they're going to be trying to shut off the gas line so we don't have some major explosions in this area.
Right.
How much of a factor is that? Are we worried about gas lines exploding?
Oh, not really. What we're worried about is the gas that's been, where the gas lines have been broken, about that feeding more fires or making the fire bigger. That's what we're worried about.
People in Scripps Ranch, what would you tell them right now? What should they be doing?
Well, just staying away and if they have their valuables with them, great. If not, some lost them and some didn't. It's just a matter of which house the fire got.
How long have you been fighting fires?
I got here approximately 9 a.m.
Okay, but I mean in your career.
Oh, I'll be 30 years in February.
30 years, and have you ever seen anything like this?
No, not really. We had normal heights, but I didn't get to that one, so this has been my biggest one as far as land area.
Okay, this is Captain Art Garcia. Thank you so much. I know that the captain is being asked to go help out a couple other TV stations. We're trying to spread his knowledge with people as much as we can. If we pan over here, you won't see any flames because that house is completely gone. You just see a chimney. That's all that stands. This house is going, and if you look over to the right, you'll notice that another house is completely gone as well. All the homes that are going up that we can see have the wood shingle roofs. A couple of the houses here have tile, and so far they're standing, and we just talked to the captain. He says that even if a house is on fire, they're going to try to save it, but once it gets to this point, obviously they step away, they move down the block, and they try to save another house. Barbara Lee?
Jeff, it's Graham.
Oh, Graham.
That's all right. Where exactly are you? We want to kind of let viewers know where this is happening. I hate to pinpoint you, but do you have any idea what street you're on?
I certainly do. Good question. We are on the corner of Handrich and Avenida Magnifica. The block is 10,300 Avenida Magnifica and 11,900 Handrich. Let's listen in here as a second. As this police chopper tells everyone to evacuate. You can hear for yourself what he's telling the residents. You can't hear him, he's out of range now, but he's telling people this is your last chance. If you want to get out of this neighborhood safely, now is your chance. I copied down a couple of addresses of homes that are definitely gone, and I want to try to break this to people as calmly as I can. 10,309 Avenida Magnifica on the corner of Handrich. That's the house you just looked at. That house is gone. The house that you're looking at here that is close to gone is on Claret Court, and the address is 11,965. So bad news for that family as well.
Just a
Graham?
few of the many homes, Jeff. Hey, listen, be careful out there. We don't want you too close to those, all right?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Be very careful.
We're going to go to another part of Scripps Ranch now where Heather Lucas is reporting live, and she's seen much the same scenario as Jeff has there. Homes going up very quickly, just shells left afterwards. I'm not sure exactly where you are. Heather, do you know what street you're on?
Yeah, I sure do, Barbara Lee. I'm on Shamberry right now, and Shamberry intersects Fairbrook, and we were on Fairbrook for quite a while. That was where we last saw you, where homes were just leveled every which way you look. So right now we've got a house over here on fire. I'm going to take you a little bit closer. Right now firefighters are on scene. What they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent the fire from basically jumping to this next door neighbor here. If Scott comes over here, you can see there are some flames on the side of this red tile roof. The house that is completely engulfed right now is a shake shingle roof. This one's red tile. They're trying to get that one under control. Let me take you down the street. This is crazy. This just erupted just a couple minutes ago. We had one house, maybe two houses on fire down the street here on Shamberry, and it's looking worse at this point, that it may have caught to a couple of the trees in the area, but the winds, you can see the way the winds are really whipping those flames around, almost in a tornado-like effect. So David Gottfredson's with me. He's going through the neighborhood again, collecting more addresses. I was hoping he'd be back here to give you a couple of those, but he must be around the corner. So again, firefighters hard at work here, trying to save this next door neighbor here that has a red tile roof.
Heather, have you seen a lot of these trees going up in flames? That was one of the topics of discussion earlier today because there are so many trees and they are very dry in the Scripps Ranch area.
Oh, definitely, Barbara Lee. The trees are a big problem right now. They are so dry, and it's just an easy way to, keep the fire going, just keep fueling it. When we were on Fairbrook about 15 minutes ago, we looked down the canyon and we could see just house after house on fire, and it's just amazing. Every which way you look, you're seeing flames and you're seeing a house. So we're kind of following these firefighters inside, and in case you want to know the address here, Shamberry, this is 10,382. So 10,382 Shamberry that they're trying to save right now. And that's what they're having to do. They're having to get picky and choosy about where they go. This street, for the most part, has been spared at this point. There are a bunch of shake shingle roofs around here, but so far we've got a lot of houses still standing. So David Gottfredson is making his way down here. And I do want to give you a couple more addresses because he's doing a great job of getting a couple addresses here to keep people up to date on what's going on.
It's gruesome
David,
news,
what are you seeing down there?
We have to do it.
Yeah,
Three more houses. This is Rue Shamberry, and it looks like there's 5 total on this street. 10390, 10395, 10325, 10315. And 10358, the roof is just starting, and the fire department is trying to get over to that.
David, this is much worse from when we just drove down the street. What's going on down here? So it looks like this little set right over here is catching and just growing.
There are 2 houses right now, and they're trying to save the houses on either side of it. And the numbers I just read off are the ones involved down there. So
we're seeing a valiant effort from firefighters, though, right now. I mean, they've had to give up on some other streets because it's kind of a lost cause. But right now, I think they really are working as hard as they can. I see flames popping up over here, too, on the right-hand side. They're doing the best they can, but it's definitely tough. Back to you.
Heather, I just want to give you a warning. I'm telling all the reporters this. I've been in many fires. We had a fire in Monterey that was real bad, and there's a point where you got to evacuate. So feel free at any time to get out of there because it looks like you have fire on both sides of you. All right?
Yeah, it's been worse earlier today, Graham, but we're watching our backs.
Well,
so
you never know.